Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So I'm just hopping on for a short second, man, to answer a couple of questions. Uh, the brother asked me how did I deal with the Muslim brothers that I knew that was still eating bacon and pork products. I still was cool with them. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I know people just struggle with stuff. Some people struggle with alcohol. Some people struggle with pills, cigarettes. People just have habits. I think because pork appears to be the easiest thing to give up, because it's not like you addicted to it. So we look at people who still eat pork a little different, maybe a little harsher. My only issue was that, which I made it clear to them, because I was Muslim. I became Muslim at an early age, so I was a Muslim who drank alcohol. I was a Muslim who smoked marijuana. I was a Muslim that had girlfriends. But the problem was I accepted that these things shouldn't be done, and that's just me not being on my deen. That's me breaking the laws of Islam. The difference with them was they was using Quran ayats, making it halal. And that was just a thing. I just told them, man, y'all stop using the Quran, stop using the Islam to justify y'all wrongdoing. When I was dealing with intoxicants early on in my late teens, because of things in the Quran where it say don't approach the prayer while you drunk, and I didn't know about abrogations, and I didn't know the people who was around didn't know nothing either, so they was kind of had it in my mind that same thing. You could drink, you can deal with intoxicants, you just can't pray while you intoxicated. So I also at one point in time misused the Quran to justify my wrongdoing. You see what I'm saying? So that's all it was. So I understand people struggle, but I just told them, if you struggle, if it's a fitna for you, if it's a trial and a test, and that's between you and Allah, man, then you deal with it from that end. But as long as you continue to make it permissible, you're never going to stop until you realize that it's wrong. So I remain cool with them. It's funny, because we was like the three amigos. So basically, it was me and two other brothers, and both of them had the same. Now look at it, because I gotta say this just to show you how shaitan works. We was like the three amigos. So it was a point in time. I ain't gonna say it don't happen nowhere. But like it was a point in time when Muslim gatherings at homes was like really a thing, where people, it might be a group of sisters in one room and then their husbands in another room, and it may be a conference and they listening to the conferences, taking notes, or it may be a live class that was on. Like at this point in time, so I'm going all the way back to like 2012 maybe, and Hassan Somali was teaching on the weekends. He was teaching Imam Barbahari's book until they made him stop. You know what I'm saying? Because the scholars were saying you ain't supposed to teach that book unless you teach this one before it, because you could end up misinterpreted and being harsh. So he didn't finish it. Alhamdulillah, I had already read the book, so like when they was holding these classes, people would all get together at one house, and cook some food, grill, order some food, brothers with their wives and their kids playing together, and we would sit and listen to the classes, take notes, and you know what I'm saying, had a book, follow along with it. So this used to be a thing. So with these two brothers, both of them were saying the exact same thing about the Quran ayat. that is not referring to pork flesh. So you can eat bacon and you can eat pork products. You just can't eat ham, pork chops, and like pig feet, pig noses. One of them even said you could eat chitlins because chitlins wasn't part of the flesh. Even though to me bacon is, they said bacon wasn't part of the skin, it's from the belly. Unless you had a rind on it. So if the rind is on it, then that's from the skin. So one of them ate bacon, the other one ate pork products. You know what I'm saying? So, but we like the Three Amigos. And although one of them ate bacon and bratwurst sausages, so we used to get together on the weekends, right? And we all was married, so our wives was friends. And we would get together, study like the Arabic alphabet. Only one of us knew the alphabet and how to connect it at that particular time. Although they had some mistakes in it because they learned from the Wharf Dean community in prison, and that's, they had some mistakes, but we didn't know it, so we was learning. So we, like I said, we would get together, our wives, us, cook some food. And we was studying the Arabic alphabet, and we would read from particular books and taking notes, and listen to like one of the live classes on the weekend. And at that particular time, like I said, it was Hassan Somali that we was listening to. So all of it fell apart because, like I said, one family ate pork products. The other family ate bacon and bratwurst sausages. So one of the brother's wives wasn't urban. So she made like a hash brown casserole or tater tot casserole or something like that. So because they dealt with pork products, she had made like this tater tot casserole, whatever it was. I didn't eat none of it because I'm aware of they eat pork. So I had told my wife, be careful what you eat up there because they use the Quran to justify eating pork products. And then the other couple, they eat actual bacon and stuff. So she went and looked at, because the wives got there early because they was doing the cooking. So they had seen, she looked at the stuff she was using, and she seen that some of the stuff she put in the casserole had pork in it. And they had like some baked beans. But alhamdulillah, because I was there, he made sure that she got the vegetarian baked beans. So it ain't no beef broth, no pork broth. Because usually she just got pork and beans, baked beans, pork juice in it. It didn't matter. So, you know, they even made a big deal. Oh, we got to get these special beans because y'all seeing this here and all this other stuff. So, long story short, the brother wife, because they ate pork and they ate bacon and bratwurst and different stuff, right? She gave the daughter some of that hash brown casserole. It had some type of cheese or some type of cream cheese or something in it that had pork in it. So the baby, not laughing at the baby, it made the baby sick. The baby just started throwing up instantly, like bad. And the baby was loving it. The baby was just it wasn't eating none of the meat. The baby just was tearing. But you know, it wasn't like a little baby. She was probably maybe 3, something like that. So she was tearing that casserole up. I'm watching them eat it too. Both of the brothers. The baby started throwing up. So dude snapped, talking about they gave his baby some pork. But they ended up getting into it. So this gathering ended up breaking up. But the reason why I keep laughing was because you said this pork was permissible according to the Quran. Now that your baby's sick, now you want to blame them and his wife. Why would she put pork in some other Muslim food? Because y'all said it was permissible. Hey, they really got into it, man. But they still was eating bacon. Stop for law, man. I shouldn't be laughing. But you know, hindsight is 20/20. But what I'm getting at is, like, some people have never experienced that type of thing when gatherings at people's house was like really a thing. And people did like Islamic trivia. You know, it was a Muslim sister, man, who had bought this Hadith challenge game. And, you know, she was in Philly. She in Philly. Nobody a player with her, man. So, like, every day through the phone, I would play the Hadith trivia game with her. They got these board games. They got the Quran challenge, Hadith challenge. I used to have the Quran challenge one. And they board games. And you had to answer the questions to move your piece forward. And it really teach you a lot about the Quran and the names of Allah. But real talk, man, like, this really used to be a thing. Like, sisters, it might be like 10, 15 sisters, man, getting together, drinking tea, reading the wives of the prophet, you know, taking notes, like really reading it, really getting through the book, not just getting together and talking about men and talking about their marriages and what movie stars cute and all that stuff, like things it became. Some of the brothers, one of the last ones I seen, and they went ahead and did it on live, a couple of cats I was cool with in Philly. So that's how I was pulled into the live, man. They had like 8, 9 brothers. They got together, man, brought some salmon over there, cooked some salmon. One of the wives made like a big pan of rice. And, you know, they had some salads and they had some lamb chops too. And while the salmon and stuff and the lamb was cooking, they was playing Islamic Jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? And then they had 2 teams, almost Family Feud. It was this group against this group. It was 9 people. So one person who they felt like was the most knowledgeable, he was the moderator and came up with the question. So it was 4 on 4. And then they would ask the question, and then they kind of, you know, it was like Jeopardy, but it was kind of mixed with like how Family Feud is. So 2 people would get a chance to answer first, and then whoever was right, then they team get to go first, and they was keeping points. But like this used to be a real thing. It's not like that no more. And you know, some Muslims never gonna know of that type of deen, and it was very beneficial. Like even here, like I said, we used to meet, listen to the classes on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? I was the one, you know, having them tune in what classes we should listen to. Like I said, we was listening to the Hassan Somali at that time, and because a lot of the people who strong students now, they were still overseas. They hadn't graduated yet. The only one that was here was Shadid Muhammad. He was the only graduate who had came home, but he wasn't doing like live classes like that. But we used to go to the masjid, man. Listen to lectures, have a little class. Everybody get together and grill. It'd be all our kids, and this would be us urban Muslims. You know what I'm saying? And the ones who was married to like non-urban Muslims. You know, and they was cool, but it would be cool situations, man, until, you know, something just would always go wrong because you had a group of people who had just been Muslim and they wasn't familiar with this version of Islam. And the person who got me right to take it serious, that was my introduction into that. It was a brother named Nakir in Philly, and he used to get me on the webcam, and we used to be on Yahoo Chat, and he would have me on the webcam, and then I could see there, and I'm talking about, man, sometimes it would be like 30, 40 people at the house. And it would be married couples, then they would have brothers who wasn't married and sisters who wasn't married, but they all together and they trying to help them get married. And they would have a cook-off, like the men would be responsible for cooking this, and then the women would be responsible for cooking this, and then people would judge whoever food was the best between the men and the women, and then they would win whatever prize was there. Then they would play Islamic trivia games, like Islamic charades, and then they would also have little classes, and I used to just sit there and be on a webcam. Sometimes I would join in and answer, but my mind was blown because I had never seen that before, and they was trying to get me to marry one of the sisters, so that's why he used to have me, and we met on MySpace, and that really, and that right there was in like 2003, 2002. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm talking about a webcam and Yahoo Chat. Like, so you know this was way back in the day, but some Muslims would never get to experience that type of Islam. And like, this was weekly. This was a regular thing, once a week, 2-3 times a month, where Muslims would get together at somebody's house or rotate houses, and they would cook food and they would read a book, they would listen to some live classes, or if a conference was going on, they would get together, listen to the conferences. And it really used to be a beautiful thing, but it's not like that no more. When Ramadan would be coming, man, it would be like people in different cities, and I hit them up from different times throughout the day. What y'all working on, what y'all study, what you get from the Quran today. Have a whole conversation with them, you know, then call another city, what y'all do, what y'all work on today. And then we going through different things about the Quran and where we at. And we used to do certain things like what came from Quran and Sunnah and what came from the Salaf. And just to break down little different things that we do, and then we'll see like, okay, Umar put this into place. You see what I'm saying? This wasn't necessarily from the Rasul and this and that, but it's from the Deen. Not like no bid'ah, nothing like that. So we would have things like what's from the Salaf, and it used to be a beautiful thing. Like, you know, me and D's and our little group, we still do it, but we in different cities, so it's very rare that, I say 3 times, we got 6 of it. No, 8 was the biggest group where they came here and stayed here. But two times it was 6 people, and then one time it was 8. Well, they came to where I'm at right now in this spot, and we all stayed here. It was a conference for the weekend, one weekend, so we stayed on the conference. It was another time where I had a scholar from overseas who he did a live Zoom with us, and it was sad, man, because at the time I was teaching. I had left to go teach a class with another group, but I was telling them instead of the class from there, I'm gonna set up the Zoom. So like with the people I had here and the Zoom and the scholar, none of them showed up. And we was in a group chat, and I was like, man, I had a scholar for y'all to listen to and to ask questions and to do all this and that. Y'all didn't show up. Then it was like, and then like towards the end, when it was over with, one of the sisters tried to join it, but it was over with. You know what I'm saying? But some of us will just never know what that's like, man. And I'm talking about consistent for years. That used to be a beautiful aspect of the deen, man. That's something I would like to see come back. You know what I'm saying? Even a time where like some of these sisters who was here who try to maintain their friendships, they still would try to get together and meet, but it really, it wasn't no real beneficial study session. But they would at least get together and be friends and eat a little food and talk about who cute and all that type of stuff. But it wasn't like what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's just to answer a couple of questions for the brothers, man. How did I deal with them brothers who ate pork? I ain't gonna, we gonna be good, man, because ain't nobody gonna be perfect. It's just once you start trying to trick other people into eating pork and then start trying to justify it instead of just letting it be your struggle and admitting that it's wrong, once you start doing that, then that's when our issues is going to come into play. And then the most I'm going to do, first I'm going to talk to them, quit telling them that type of stuff. I fear Allah. Because if they start eating pork, you're going to be held accountable for that. Then if they won't listen to that, then I'm going to tell them people in front of them, don't listen to this dude. He going to pull you off your deen. Now, and I'm going to tell him in front of them. Now, if he choose to not listen to me, then I'm just going to be done with the whole situation. Cool, you end up eating pork, you just end up eating pork. And those are some of the things that irritate me in the deen. And because we don't have like these gatherings at a house where new Muslims can come in, male and female, because people is married, and then this new sister, she could come with the wives, and then we had a new brothers there, and then there's somebody there, and we listening to some beneficial lectures, even live ones, or possibly a scholar, where somebody can clear up these things where they won't fall into that type of stuff. Now that don't happen anymore, you have more people just tricking people off of their deen, and people don't really know how to understand their deen, and then just be hard-headed, and they just not going to listen. To me, that's just a seal up. Allah don't want you to listen right now. I'm going to look at it that way due to the Quran, ayahs, and hadiths that I read. I'm not going to say that because some people, depending on the level of deen that they own, it's going to be offensive to them. Somebody like me, if I'm in a situation like that and a brother remind me, man, it's a strong possibility Allah just don't want you to get that right now. Maybe you need to look within and see if it's something you doing that ain't right. Maybe you need to make tawbah and clean up some things. I'm going to look at it and be like, man, you know what, you might be right. I'm going to go home. I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to make istikhara, and I'm going to make tawbah if it's something I'm doing that I'm not aware of. You know what I'm saying? But some people, the brother judgmental. He always saying that, he a backbite. That's negativity. You know what I'm saying? And it break my heart because I done seen plenty of brothers who was coming to gatherings or coming around, and then they could have been fine. But then these people who just been messing up things for 20 years, they end up messing them brothers up. Then 4-5 years be done passed, and then they'll come to me like, man, the brother need help, man. You should reach out to him. Man, y'all messed everything up when I was trying to talk to him. Then y'all turned him against me. Now y'all want him to listen to me after y'all told him not to. So now it's going to be like a fight and an argument just for me to help him. And then for some reason, every time this happened, then I end up seeing that person. And man, when I see them, man, it'd be hard for them to look at me, man. Like, I done fell off, man. I ain't been reading. I done stopped studying. I barely listen to lectures anymore. I'm having so much problems I don't know how to deal with. I'm always irritated and agitated. And I be looking at them, and I make dua for them, but I get mad at these brothers, man, because they put that brother on the same path that they on. So, it's just unfortunate, man. Some Muslims never going to get to experience that. Once a week or every Saturday and Sunday, you going, sitting with a group of Muslims at a house, and y'all put y'all money together and order some halal food, or go buy something and put it on the grill, or y'all cook it, and y'all have wives. And we talking about a nice little amount of group, man, like 8-9 brothers with 8-9 sisters, and y'all all married. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all kids is there playing together. Some people never going to get to experience that. And like, it's real beneficial. Like, it ain't people just sitting around, the men talking about sports, the women talking about actors that's cute and they favorite shows and all that other little female stuff. You know what I'm saying? People really on some deen. And I really wish that aspect of the deen would come back. Because, alhamdulillah, I still get to do it, but it just happened to be over Zoom. Or some people who we doing, just like I said, the person we doing Lulu Al Marjan, they in Egypt. That we do it on Monday, but they somebody in Egypt, and it blow my mind because I told them this before they left. Like, you done went over there just to finally start benefiting in America, going through whatever struggles and all this other stuff. Like, being in Egypt is a flex. You know what I'm saying? Because you flexing on other people, but really, man, life is like a horror show for you. And then the benefit that you're getting and the learning that you're doing is from people that's in America. It's just sad, man. But like I say, I still, alhamdulillah, I still get to do different things with people daily, weekly. They just not in my city, man. So, I would like to see that aspect of the deen come back, man. And because it was a beautiful thing. Even with like Facebook, I remember I seen a change. Like, when you got on Facebook, people wasn't doing nothing but posting reminders, beneficial reminders, or having Islamic talks. And every single time a particular group would come on the post, what scholar preceded you, just a whole bunch of weirdo stuff, wallahi, to the point where people started saying, like, no matter what the benefit was, it'll turn into arguments on the whole post, getting up to 400-500 comments on a beneficial post because a particular group who said that one of the people we listened to never quoted that, and it had just turned into a whole argument. And about 90% of the time, that particular group that stepped in with their mouth was wrong. And then, wallahi, I remember people just started saying it. I want to post reminders, but people don't do nothing but start arguing. And it was because of that group. So then people stopped posting reminders, and then it just started getting replaced with people posting pictures of food they cooked, some type of business stuff that they want to feel like they into, like if they made body butters or something, they want to post pictures of their body butters and them making it, just different stuff like that. and just other stuff, making fun of people or post about people with deficiencies, and then they want to post pictures of them and make jokes of them. But all the Islamic reminders and conversations and questions, it just disappeared. You barely see people posting reminders anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Then you had all these groups. All the groups is about disbanded. Where you had all these beneficial Salafi groups. People leaving them. They broke up because wasn't nothing but fighting and arguing going on in them. So, I really wish that form of the deen would come back. I wish it could happen here with some of the Muslims, you know what I'm saying? But we just don't want it, man. That part of Islam is getting in our way. So, alhamdulillah, man. So that the question about how I dealt with the people with the pork, and if it was something of the deen that I wish I could change or bring back, what would it be? And that's what it would be, man. The beneficial Islamic gatherings that people was getting together, having at their homes once a week or twice a week, every Saturday and Sunday, and then rotating from house to house. Or if they had access to the masjid, they was doing it in a masjid. And this was more than just what the masjid was offering. This built up brotherhood, this built up sisterhood. You would see situations where one of the Muslims might have fell into bad times and didn't have no food in their house, didn't have no link card or no food stamp card, and then the sisters and the brothers may have put money up and took them to the store and filled their refrigerator up, or they had something going on with the bills, and then people put their money together and paid their bills because they're connected. They're meeting once a week, twice a week, cooking, socializing Islamically, kids growing up together, strengthening each other, because these kids might not want to wear hijabs. Now they seeing this kid in a hijab every day and carrying it and talking to them. Now these girls want to put hijabs on. These sons see this other little brother, he know Quran and he know how to call the adhan and all that stuff, and that's their friend. Now they want to learn it. You know what I'm saying? It was like small forms of it was a community. All that stuff is gone, man. In this city, on a successful, peaceful level, I haven't seen it. Like I said, at a house, the last time that it was going on like that at a house, this was in like 2011, 2012, when the incident fell out about them giving their kid pork, but they all ate pork anyway. You know what I'm saying? They gave your kid pork because y'all feel like it's permissible. Like, but the crazy part was they didn't give the pork to his daughter. His wife fed it to her. What you getting mad at them for? Your wife fed it to her. The wife fed it to her own daughter. So, and like I said, everybody was eating it except for me and my wife. Oh yeah, see, I was strict. He's strict. He an extremist. Nah, I just don't eat swine. I don't care what y'all think the ayat mean. I ain't finna touch no pork. Just out of desire. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a pork product or what you consider not to be flesh, I ain't touching it. And since 2012, I've never seen it successfully, like where we really benefiting. Listening to a class, having classes ourselves. At that time, we was doing the Arabic alphabet. You know? All gone. All gone, man. Over some people getting into it that both eat pork. Subhanallah. We had a couple of things in the masjid, but had a couple of picnics in the park. You know what I'm saying? Everybody brought a little food, but it wasn't like You know, it was cool for the brotherhood, but it was a bunch of fighting and arguing over people not wanting to pray the same direction. It was still just fighting and arguing. It wasn't really an Islamic beneficial thing, but we was together eating food. It's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate, man. So yeah, if I could change anything, I would bring that back. But a lot of people that I talk to, like even in Philly, in Jersey, that stuff just don't go on no more like that. You know, sometimes a conference might go on, or like you know, even when classes were going on, we would text each other, we would hit each other up. Man, you got the class on? You know the class finna start in like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You ready for the class? This, that, and the third. We would hit each other up with reminders to watch the class. And then go back and forth, or maybe on the FaceTime if we not in the same house, but we listening to it at our house and be like, man, did you hear that, this, that? Or, you know, writing down, taking a little notes. Did you write anything down? What did you take from it? And like some of us, we all work together. We be like, man, what did you take from the class? You know, building on it. All that is gone, man. If I could change anything, I would change that, man, and bring that back, because I seen the benefit in it. So anyway, man, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.